Kohlberg's Theory of Moral Development by lenarose2. Please click on the image for a video intro. In this presentation, students will discover what is the theory of moral development and its development. Students will also evaluate the different stages of the theory of moral development and analyze these stages as they apply to the field of education. Finally, students will examine the criticism and objections as well as the ethical dilemmas that evolve from this theory. So let us clarify some terms here. We have theory, which is basically a hypothesis, and we have morality, which are principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. We also have moral development that is used throughout this presentation, and it focuses on the emergence, change, and understanding of morality from infancy through adulthood. And lastly, we have a moral dilemma, which is a conflict in which you have to choose between two or more actions and have moral reasons for choosing each action. We're about to discover what is the theory of moral development. The theory states that morality starts from the early childhood years and that we progress in morality as we age. Moral development is extremely important in the life of every human being. Moral development is a concern for every parent. Teaching a child to distinguish right from wrong and to behave accordingly is a major goal of parenting and teaching. So let's examine Kohlberg's moral development theory. It's a theory inspired by Jean Piaget. Sometimes it's not necessary to reinvent the wheel. In fact, the theory of moral development is an outgrowth of Jean Piaget's 1932 theory of moral reasoning. The theory of moral development was developed by psychologist Lawrence Kohlberg in 1958. The theory basically is interested in how individuals would justify their actions if placed in similar moral dilemmas. The theory analyzed the moral reasoning displayed rather than its conclusion. In all, there are 6 stages concerned with justice. So the second learning objective is to evaluate the stages of the theory of moral development and how do they apply to the field of education. So let's examine these stages as they apply to education. Understanding Kohlberg's theory of moral development can help you to better understand your student and help you to guide them in their moral development. Elementary age students will typically remain in stages 1 to 3. Some students may reach the higher stage of moral development more quickly than their peers, but you can introduce your students to different classroom activities designed to help strengthen their moral character at any age. So here are Kohlberg's 6 stages of moral development. It's broken down in first level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is primarily concerned with right and wrong and is determined by rewards and punishment. Level 1 is called pre-conventional morality, and it encompasses 2 stages. Stage 1 is punishment and obedience. Whatever leads to punishment is wrong. Stage 2, rewards. The right way to behave is the way that is rewarded. Now we go down to level 2, which is the conventional morality, and it focuses on the views of others, matter, avoidance of blame, seeking approval, and it encompasses stages 3 and 4. Stage 3 is having good intentions, behaving in ways that conform to good behavior. Stage 4 is obedience to authority, importance of doing one's duty. Level 3 is post-conventional morality, and it involves abstract notions of justice, rights of others can override obedience to laws and rules. And this encompasses both stage 5 and stage 6 of the theory of moral development. Stage 5, difference between moral and legal right, recognition that rules should sometimes be broken. And stage 6 is the individual principles of conscience, takes into account likely views of everyone affected by a moral decision. So let's examine the first stage as it pertains to education. Kohlberg stage 1 and early childhood education. So most preschool and some kindergarten students are still in the first stage of moral development. According to Kohlberg's theory, in this stage it is important to begin to lay the groundwork to encourage moral behaviors. In this stage 1, young children are primarily motivated to behave appropriately simply to avoid being punished for misbehaving. By understanding this stage of moral development, teachers can help to guide their students' moral development by setting a code of conduct for the classroom to encourage good behavior. So basically, this is the punishment and obedience stage. Children are motivated to behave appropriately simply to avoid being punished for misbehaving. So now we go to Kohlberg stage 2, which is early elementary. It's a reward stage. They behave and follow the rules if they're offered a reward for doing so. So in this stage 2, young children become more motivated to behave and follow the rules if they're offered a reward for doing so. Implementing a system to reward elementary students who follow the classroom rules and who exhibit helpful behavior in the classroom can go a long way in encouraging moral behavior. At this stage also, it is a good idea to introduce the classroom activities that encourage cooperation between students. Games and assignments that require students to help one another in order to succeed will help students at this stage to further develop their moral reasoning skills. Kohlberg stage 3 and late elementary and middle school kids. Most children reach stage 3 between the ages of 10 and 13. In this stage, children begin to think more about the other people around them. They consider how their behavior affects other people and how other people perceive them. At this stage, you can help to strengthen your students' moral character by allowing them to help you to create a code of conduct for the classroom. This lets the students be partially responsible for the classroom rules, which they will be expected to follow. So basically, they're conforming to good behavior and they consider how their behavior affects other people and how they are perceived by other people. Kohlberg's final stages, 4 to 6, is high school and beyond. Is basically abstract notions of justice, rights of others can override obedience to laws and justice. So older students may begin to reach level 4 by the time they reach the end of middle school or the beginning of high school. Allow simple time for group projects, or I'm sorry, allow ample time for group projects and activities that give students at different stages of development the opportunity to work together and to learn how their behaviors affect others in a social context. So now we come to the discussion question. In what ways can teachers help to guide the moral development of students by using Kohlberg's stage model of moral development? Now we come to learning objective number 3. Examine the ethical dilemma and the criticism and objections that involve from this moral development theory. So I'm going to be presenting the Heinz dilemma to you, which is a thought exercise that is used to study ethics and morality scenarios. In psychology, it is used in Kohlberg's stages of moral development. Kohlberg would present this dilemma to people and then ask questions to determine their stage of moral development. Here is the Heinz dilemma. Please click on the link and watch the video. So you've just watched the video on Heinz dilemma. According to Kohlberg's theory, it is not important what the participant thinks that Heinz should do. It's the justification that the participant offers which is significant. So turn to your shoulder partner and we're going to do a think right pair share. Are there situations where right and wrong aren't perfectly clear? Another question is Kohlberg's theory a cultural ideal based in a Western philosophical tradition? All good theories have criticism and objections, and the Kohlberg theory of moral development also has its fair share of criticism and objections. The first one we have here is Carol Gilligan in 1982. She says that Kohlberg is sex biased. Kohlberg only interviewed males. Another person, Tomlinson Kesey and Kesey, 1974, investigated links between cognitive and moral development. And they claim that girls of 11 to 12 years at stage 5 scored well on tests of abstract reasoning, as predicted, but some failed to show stage 5 moral reasoning. Other general critiques included emphasizing justice to the exclusion of other moral values such as caring. Individuals in different cultures seem to progress through the stages at different rates. So we come to the conclusion of this presentation, and there are a few takeaways here that Lawrence Kohlberg's theory gives structure or framework to an otherwise difficult to understand phenomenon. Also, his moral development theory influenced the theory of moral development in women, proposed by Carol Gilligan, one of his major critics, and continues to be popular in academic circles worldwide. His work is important in the field of psychology, also in the field of education. Understanding his stages of moral development is significant when attempting to understand the behavior and decisions made by students. Accurate assignment to a stage of development can help teachers understand why students do the things they do and how to best approach them. The theory also provides the teacher with the tools necessary to manage the classroom, thus enhancing the potential success of the lesson. Thank you.